What's up everyone, MK Tom Brady here, and in this video I'm having to re-record my video on Invincible wake up stuff. I did it late last night. I was super tired. There's a whole bunch of stuff that I missed. I was really tired and I didn't give the players proper credit. So to start things off, let me start with the credit. I want to apologize to everyone who watched the first video. I'm re-recording this. It's not as funny, but it's more straight to the point. Less run on, which overall will be better for people looking for the information. The two players that must receive credit are one, Irish Mantis, who over a year ago when I questioned the invincibility and I started to say, hey, there was invincible frames when people thought there was no invincibility at all. And clearly there's invincibility on Wake Up. He looked into it, found the initial data for the quick getup. I then saw a couple of clips that posted by Vis and during the Sonic Fox Gauntlet of Kerbo doing delay wake up and then jumping completely out of an attack. And this has happened to me as well, and it's almost like they've had extra invincibility. So I made a video where I talked about the grounded invincibility on top of the extra invincibility on wake up, which caused another player, Gilbags, to kind of look into it. And Gilbags did a whole lot of work. Farmed the data down to an exact science, and without the contributions of those two, especially Gilbags, who did a lot of the legwork here, this video would not be possible. So to Irish Mantis and the Gilbags, I thank you very much. You guys made this possible, and I appreciate all the hard work you guys did on this. So now, here's how the wake up system actually works. The game forces you to get straight up. Now, this is stuff we already know, so we'll start with what we know. I've been over this before. We all know this part of the wake up system. The game, no matter how you get knocked down, always forces you to stand up before you can move. You see I have him on duck. Even though I have him on duck, he doesn't stand duck, doesn't rise and end up ducking. The game forces him to stand and then duck. The entire time he's going from the ground to stand is 20 frames, and he is fully invincible. This is why doing a meaty with a high is impossible, because highs cannot meaty you. You are invincible until the point of getting control of your character, which is when you can strike, duck, jump, block, etc. Because duck is included in that, you are fully invincible until you can duck, and by the time you can duck, you can avoid the high meaty, because it's a high and you can duck. So if you're trying to meaty with a high, I don't care when you do it, it is an improper meaty. I don't care how down to the frame you are. I don't care what you did, how you try to time it, blah, blah, blah. Meaty with a high and something goes wrong, it is your fault. It has nothing to do with the game, the hitboxes, nothing. You already know. You cannot meaty with a high. This is no reason to blame the game for this anymore, because anyone that tries it, they already know you can't do that. Now, if somebody gets straight up off quick rise, they are afforded those 20 invincible frames. And they can also do things like wake up, forward roll, backward roll, up 3, up 2, etc. So the up 3 is invincible. These wake up attacks or roll, so forward, backward roll, up 3, up 2, they come out on frame 18. So you can input the command on frame 18 and the move begins to start up. What does that mean? That means if I'm doing a 10 frame up 3, it's going to make contact on frame 28, because you can start it on frame 18, it begins to start up, 10 frames from frame 18 is frame 28. This is why a lot of these really fast up 2s, like Sonia's 8 frame up 2, she inputs that on frame 18, it's going to make contact on frame 26. So if you're not really on point with your meaty, it's so fast and it's always going to come out down to the frame, because it's a wake up attack, almost not like a reversal special where it comes out a little bit early. It's going to make contact on that 26 frame of getting up every single time. So if you're a little bit off on your meaty, it's going to launch you even though it has no invincibility. So for anyone who's tried to meaty and got caught by some of these really fast up 2s, this would be why. Because they start coming out on frame 18, a lot of us think, 20 frames of invincibility, 8 frame move. That means it comes out on frame 28. No, that's not true. Not for wake up attacks. Now, when it comes to wake up buttons, so say you were to do like an 8-frame jab, you can do wake up buttons on frame 19. So as you're in frame 19 of your invincibility, you can start your wake up buttons, and then your moves begin to start up, and it comes out that many frames later. And this is how we think the wake up system works. I don't think we knew about the wake up buttons. That was Gilbag's kind of went into detail on that. But we knew about the invincible frames and the wake up on frame 18, etc. And we applied this across the board, and we said, okay, this is how the wake up system works. We were wrong. I questioned this a little bit, and I'm glad that we got all the data now, because there are other wake up options here which really throw like a real wrench in a lot of this. So there's something called delayed getup. Now, delayed getup is different than quick rise because it allows you to lay grounded for a few frames and then get up. 15 frames actually for short. So someone does a short delay getup. They are invincible for all 15 grounded frames, right? So all 15 frames on the ground, they're invincible for, and then they get even extra invincibility while they're rising. So normal quick rise, you get 20 invincible frames. For short delay, you now have 21 invincible frames. So if you're trying to time your meaty to hit perfectly right as their invincible frames wear off, so you hit right on that 21st frame, if that's your meaty timing and they do short delay and you have that exact same timing, your attack is going to miss and you're going to get punished because they actually have an extra frame of invincibility. 21 frames. So if you take the 15 grounded invincible frames and the 21 standing invincible frames, that is a total invincibility window of 36 frames. That's a lot of invincibility. That's over a half a second of full invincibility. But it gets better. There is another option called long delay. This allows you to delay your wake up even further. So you get knocked down here, and now you lay grounded for 30 frames, and you are fully invincible for all 30 frames. While you are rising, you are then afforded extra invincibility, 22 frames. So now you have 22 frames of full invincibility. Now here's how wake up buttons works. Normal quick rise, wake up buttons, you input on for perfect wake up buttons on frame 19. Short delay, for perfect wake up buttons, you input on frame 20, because you have to do it one frame before the invincibility wears off. And then for long delay, you have to input your wake up buttons on frame 21. So 19, 20, and 21, respectively, is when the perfect wake up buttons timing for all three wake ups. And if you're off on your meaty on the different invincibility frames, you're going to get punished. But even more concerning is the fact that someone can lay grounded for 30 frames, be fully invincible, and then be afforded extra invincibility as they rise. 22 frames. That is 52 total frames of invincibility. You can't get any more merciful than this. For someone to be knocked down, have use of all their resources, choose, you know what, I'm just going to lay on the ground here. And the game says, you know what, you could have done short delay, you could have done roll, up 3, up 2. With all those options at your disposal, you still chose to lay on the ground for the maximum amount of time. And your opponent read that, so he stood over your body for all that time. You should be invincible for that entire window because God forbid the opponent makes the read and punishes you for your mistake which got you knocked down to begin with. You need to be fully invincible, friend, until you can all the way rise, and you shouldn't really be punished for you making a mistake, and the opponent should have to stand there for a full second. 52 frames of invincibility is almost a full second. To make somebody stand over your body, make that read, and then have to stand there for a full second and still give you all that invincibility is absolutely ridiculous. I'm not going to sit here and bash the game. I don't need to do that. The data does that in itself. It does the game its own disservice. I don't need to do anything. What I want to do here is I want to now look at this Google document here, which gives us all the data. And, we can kind of go look over this here. And here it all is right here in front of our face. So if you're having a problem breaking down what I just said, here it is written in front of you. So quick get up. They get knocked down, they get straight up. They are fully invincible for 20 frames if they just get straight up and do nothing. On frame 18 of their invincible frames, they can input their up 2, up 3, or roll, right? And the input is done on frame 18 and it begins to start up on that 18th frame. Now, if they were to do frame perfect wake up button, so let's say an average is an 8-frame jab. The fastest jab in the game is 7, but not everyone has that luxury, so we're going to go on average. On average, an average fast-ish jab speed is 8. So on average here, if you want to rise with an 8-frame jab, you have to input that on frame 19 and it makes contact on frame 27. Now, if you're trying to do a meaty to beat a wake up 8-frame jab, let's say with a 13-frame mid, I understand there are mids that are 11 frames, 9 frames, etc., but not everyone is fortunate enough to have these 10, 11, 9-frame mids. A lot of the cast is stuck in that 13-frame or higher mid window, so we're going to go average, right? I mean, obviously, if you're a character with faster mids, you can adjust, based on, this timing here. You can basically subtract some frames because your attack is faster, but on average, the majority of the cast is going to have to deal with this based on a 13-frame mid. So, a 13-frame meaty, you have to input that on frame 8 through 13. If you input it on frame 8 of their getup, it comes out perfectly right on the 21st frame, right? Because 8 plus 13 is 21. It hits them right, perfect. They can't move. They're completely jailed. Can't move, jump, nothing. So even if you input it as late as frame 13, 13 plus 13 is 26. So it still beats the 8-frame jab, which comes out on frame 27. The reason why I say as late as frame 13 is because there are, it's a 27, the jab will come out on the 27th frame. If you're doing an attack that will land on the 27th frame, they could trade, or some like Sub-Zero has a back 3. For example, if I try to back 3 and they wake up with a jab and their jab animation happens to be one where their body goes super forward and their legs go super back, I actually lose instead of trade. It's just not worth it. So you want to make sure your meaty, a 13-frame meaty, you want to do it on frame 8 through 13 of their getup to make sure it comes out, on frame 21 through 26. Now, online, this is where it gets tricky. Online, even in the best possible connection, there are 3 frames of input delay. That means to time a proper meaty on quick getup, wake up buttons with somebody using an 8-frame jab, you have to basically input your meaty in frames 5 through 10. Now, this in general is kind of weird because this is a big difference. For a quick getup perfect meaty offline, you're looking at frame 8 through 13, and offline it's frame 5 through 10. So if you're used to I'm going to do it on the first possible frame 5, right? And you kind of get used to this. When you go offline, you're going to be too early. And if you get used to this, you're going to be too late. Which is kind of weird how the wake up system works, where online and offline are so different. I guess you kind of have to find like a medium and in between the two timings. But again, it's just one of those things where, like I said, online, you're not going to react, in 5 or 10 frames of somebody's getup in general. So online, it's already harder to do. And if you really get used to being frame perfect, like I'm going to get that first frame, I'm going to jail them, right? So you're jailing them every time offline. Frame 8 of their wake up, bam, you have it down. You have the timing down. They're jailed. They can't get off the ground, nothing. Because sometimes they can even get off the ground. With a 13-frame meaty, say you input it on the last frame, while you'll beat their jab, sometimes they can get off the ground and you'll hit them and they'll be slightly airborne. In order to ensure that they're completely jailed, you have to do it more on the early end. And if you get used to doing it on frame 8 and then you go online and do it on frame 5, on frame 8, you're going to be a little late. If you get used to doing it online, all we have on frame 5, and you go offline, you're going to be way early. Like, you're so used to perfectly jailing them on Wake Up, you're doing it on frame 5 online, every single time perfect. You go offline, you're early, you get beat. Okay. Sorry if that's too confusing. Perfect Wake Up down 1. 7 frame on average, or down 3, like some characters have 7 frame down 3s or down 1s. They can input this on frame 19. All Wake Up buttons on Quick Rise are input on frame 19, and this will make contact on frame 26. This means to meaty a down 1 on Wake Up, you have to input this on frame 8 through 12. So you have, again, frame 8 will make contact on frame 21, and frame 12 will make contact on frame 25. This down 1 will come out on frame 26, so you beat it. Online, you have to take off 3 frames, so now it's frame 5 through 9. So you have 5 through 9 frames to react to their get up online and time your meaty as you see them rise to kind of get that meaty timing down. Short delay. Grounded invincible frames is 15. Getting up invincible frames is 21. Total invincible frames, grounded plus getting up, is 36. 36 complete frames of invincibility. Frame perfect Wake Up buttons with an 8-frame jab. You input this now on frame 20 instead of frame 19. It makes contact on frame 28. This means meaty timing to beat a Wake Up 8-frame jab with a 13-frame mid. You must input this on frame 9 through 14. So if you input it on frame 9 of their get up, they're completely jailed. It's going to hit them on that very, very first frame that they can be hit. And even if you're as late as frame 14, you'll still just barely beat out the 8-frame jab. Online, frame 6 through 11, because you have to take off those 3 frames. So if you want to jail somebody and not jumping, like for example, if I'm Sub-Zero and I do back 3, and I do it on this frame here, while I'll beat the Wake Up jab, if they try to get up and jump, I'm going to hit them slightly airborne. The back 3 is going to hit, the 2 is going to miss, etc. I don't get the full combo. So if I'm looking for that, some characters you have to be on the earlier end rather than the later end. If you just want to beat the Wake Up button, you can be on the later end. If you want to prevent them from going airborne, however, you want to be on the early end. And again, the problem with trying to be on the early end is when you go from offline to online, you're too late. And when you go from online to offline, you're way too early. So you're actually penalized for being on the early end when you're transitioning from online to offline in both. And to prevent the opponent from even going airborne. When you get that timing down, it's very difficult going online, offline, because again, those 3 frames, it sounds like nothing, but it's quite significant in fighting games. Perfect Wake Up down 1, 7 frames. You input this on frame 20 again, instead of frame 19 as in the quick delay, and it makes contact now on frame 27. So to meaty a Wake Up down 1 of short delay Wake Up, you have to input your meaty 13 frame meaty on frame 9 through 13 and frame 6 through 10 online. Long delay. This is where it gets hilarious. Grounded invincible frames 30. Getting up invincible frames 22. Total invincible frames 52 frames, almost a complete second of invincibility. If they want to do frame perfect Wake Up buttons with an 8-frame jab, they now input this on frame 21 instead of frame 20, and it's going to make contact on frame 29. This means for you to do an average mid to beat Wake Up buttons, you want to input this on frame 10 through 15 of their get up. Again, if you want to beat Wake Up jump, you have to be on the earlier end of the spectrum. If you want to make sure they're jailed into being fully grounded, not giving them a chance to go airborne and just get a piece of them and then they can break away, etc. You have to input this more on the early end. So frame 10 through 15, their get up frames, frame 7 through 12 online. Big difference between 10 and 15 and frame 7 through 12. It actually is a pretty big difference. Perfect Wake Up down 1, input this on frame 21. Again, like everything with long delay, makes contact on frame 28. So to beat a Wake Up down 1 with a 13 frame meaty, you have to input this on frame 10 through 14 of their get up. and on frames 7 through 11 online. Now, what does this really mean? I have never seen a wake-up system so merciful in my life. Viz put a clip up in which you could clearly see the guy did a short delay. Viz stood over his body. He put this up on Twitter. He took a lot of heat for it. He stood over his body. The guy began to rise. As he begins to rise, Viz says, okay, I see he's halfway up. I'm going to time my meaty. And it missed so barely missed that people actually thought that he might have been late on the meaty. What happened was that the jab happened to hit perfectly as the knee was retracting, so it looked like the jab knocked him out of the knee. What really happened is Viz was just a frame too early. Now, if this was quick get up, he probably hit him on frame 21, right? So it would have beat it. But what happens is because he did short delay, Viz unfortunately happened to catch him on the perfect timing for quick get up, but that extra one frame of invincibility, as dumb as it sounds, one frame, he just happened to catch that window, which is why it looks so weird. Sometimes it looks like they have extra invincibility for 1 or 2 frames and you can't explain it. You're like, how? I waited. I timed it. It's because not only are there 3 wake-up timings, quick, short, long, there are 3 invincibility timings. Quick invincibility, short invincibility, long invincibility. None on the ground, 20 while standing, 15 on the ground, 21 while standing, 30 on the ground, 22 while standing. In my opinion, there is no game where an opponent should choose to lay grounded, make a mistake, and he should be protected with 52 invincible frames. I have never seen this. I don't think there's ever a situation where somebody has a full second almost of invincibility. Imagine even somebody breaks away and they choose long delay and you stand over their body that whole time. And the game says you got hit, your fault. Which you broke away, which got you knocked down, your fault. You chose to lay on the ground, not get up, not short delay, you did long, your decision. And for all this, the game says you should be rewarded with 52 frames of invincibility. Now, why Wake Up Buttons is so effective is these frames here. You see, Wake Up Buttons works really well because if you're trying to time a quick get up, meaty, not only do they have an extra frame of invincibility, they're 15 frames on the ground invincible. So you're going to be 15, since they're laying on the ground for 15 frames, you're going to be 15 frames early on your meaty, which means you're going to be right in your recovery as they pop up on Wake Up Buttons. The reason why, if you're trying to meaty quick get up, long delay doesn't punish you is because instead of 15, they're on the ground for 30, 22 rising frames. By the time this is all complete here, by the time all of long delay is completed, if you're trying to do a quick meaty, it won't matter. I mean, you've recovered before they can get their attack out. It's this middle one here that really causes the problem between this and that. Now, if you're trying to meaty a short delay and they're doing a long delay, again, you're 15 frames early, so then your attack misses and then they pop right up right as you're in recovery and punish you. Is this a perfect wake-up system? Not even close. It is by far the most merciful wake-up system you can invent. You would be hard-pressed to invent a more merciful wake-up system where you have a billion options on quick get-up because you have just get straight up with invincible frames. Then you have up 2, up 3, roll, wake-up buttons. I guess you could put, so you have like 5 options there. Wake up jump is also in wake up attack, So you have 5 options just in quick get up, right? And then you factor in short delay, long delay, that's 6, 7 total. But just in quick get up, you have 5 options as it is, right? This is super merciful, right? And then as you go in, if you have all your resources, not only do you have these 5 options, you also have these 2 more. So a game that gives you this many options, and then if the opponent makes the right read, It affords you extra invincible frames by keeping you fully invincible while you're grounded, including long, which is 30 frames. And then extra for why they feel that because you laid grounded, you now need, oh, he laid grounded. So think about this. You have meter to use. You choose to lay grounded. The game says, poor you. Poor you, you laid grounded. Now when you're getting up, you need extra invincibility. Why? Why do you need extra invincibility? In general, was the 20 frames not enough? You need 21 and 22 on top of the invincibility? No fighting game I've ever seen. Most fighting games that have some sort of invincible frames on Wake Up, those invincible frames are consistent getting up in general. They don't get extended. Like, oh, that time it was 21. That time it was 22 frames. It was 20 there. You should have been a little earlier. I've never seen this before. Like I said, I don't know how to fix this. The best way to fix this is make this the roll, forward roll especially, 1 bar of offense, 1 bar of defense, and this has to be removed. Just completely remove short delay from the game. Because of this here, the short delay and long delay stuff, this is why breakaway isn't as disadvantageous as it should be. Because you're still sitting on the ground with 15 or 30 invincible frames, and you get the extra frame or two when you're getting up. Breakaway should be a guaranteed long delay. There should be no short delay at all. And to roll forward should be 1 bar of offense and defense. And while it wouldn't fix the wake up system, it would make it playable. Because right now, this is absolutely ridiculous. This is indefensible. There is no defense for this. And anyone who ever thought, oh, this isn't a merciful wake up system, it's hard. No, this is the most merciful wake up system. This wake up system screams, you do not want to be punished for your mistake. The game gives you nothing but second and third chance mechanics, and this is proof of this. Now, I don't need to bash the game. I don't think this is a bad game. I think there are some games that you look at and you say, psh, no saving this game. The game's done. The reason why, we're sitting here stuck complaining about the game, quote unquote, crying over the game, is because stuff like this is inexcusable. And for one thing, why is this data not in the game, right? A year and a half later, we get the data. Why is the data not in the game? Who knows? So we had to get the data on our own. And now at least it's all known and people now know why things are happening to them, etc. We get passionate, quote unquote, complain because despite all the flaws, there are fixes that can make this game maybe the best game ever. And it's right there. It's right there to be fixed. And we get no communication, nothing. So we recognize we have this game that they gave us that has the potential to be the best thing we've ever had. And now... So I hope this video helps. I hope this video answers any questions. I hope this isn't the end of the game, because at this point, after seeing something like this, if something doesn't get done, I don't know how it moves forward. Ideally, even the staunchest of MK11 haters would probably change their tune if things... They're not even haters. Look, there are some people that are haters on MK11, right? They don't care what they hate this, they hate, they don't care. But even the staunchest of people that say, I'm done, I'm never coming back, right? Those guys who want to like the game, but they're done, they're not coming back because they don't believe there's anything coming. They just say, they're just waiting to announce the next game or some skins, etc. If they overhauled the game and fix things like this, it would change a lot. But if not, the facts are out and there's really no way to defend it anymore. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'll see you next time.